Welcome back to Unpopular Honesty, the home of brutal honesty and real hip hop music. I am Cornbread Capone, chilling, maxing and relaxing. You know how I do. Let's get right to it, man. Hip hop re-enters the Billboard Top 40 in 2 weeks. Within 2 weeks, after 2 weeks of hip hop not being there, and there was this conversation going around about hip hop not being on the top 40 since in 35 years. There's a lot of people creating a lot of narratives around that conversation. Some people were saying they didn't want the dangerous, debaucherous, or detrimental music to enter Billboard. Kind of funny because the Billboard charts now have a record from Megan Thee Stallion on it called Lover Girl. Now, for those who have heard this song, most people say that they don't like it for whatever reason. I don't know why. Um, from my perspective, the lyrics and the title of the song don't go together. The song is called Lover Girl. The sample is a classic 90s R&B record called Kissing You by Total. Unfortunately, she didn't do the sample or, the remake of this classic any justice because the song was mainly about sexual activities, and I guess that's a part of love, but that's not every part of love, so to speak. So you have a lot of women who are saying, with that sample, you didn't do what you put on it wasn't any justice because it sounds like your other records that you've made in the past just put over this beat, titled it Lover Girl. You know what I'm saying? Like you're trying to put new clothes on the same person, but it's the same person that's going to come out every time, no matter what clothes or however you want to dress that person up. I guess that's the best analogy to give it because the song Lover Girl does not talk about love in the real form or true form or full form of love. It speaks about the bedroom, for lack of a better word. And that content has become boring and redundant because she's not the only one talking like that. She's not the only female rapper who makes records like that. The difference in this record, the one difference in this record that I noticed from all her other records is this one is pro man. The records in the past have been against men, if you can understand. There was one girl who broke it down and said, you're going to still have to do some level of man hating. And I was like, yeah, because that's what you started out as. And a lot of your audience that you put this record out to, the reason why it ain't working for them is because they single. So love a girl, who they gonna love? Ain't nobody there. Predominant part of your fan base is single women. We got to be honest about this. You know what I'm saying? But this is something that I knew, and I already said prior that hip hop is not dictated by the Billboard charts. It's not. It never was. You know what I'm saying? And I keep saying it because it's not. You know what I'm saying? And I knew that not too far behind that conversation that everybody was having, a rap song was going to enter the Billboard charts somehow, some way. Just didn't think it would be that one. But being that that's the latest release, there it is. You know what I'm saying? And now that conversation is over. All the people talking about the genre is done and all this and all that. There's a lot of people who are talking who don't know hip hop. They don't know hip hop. And you could tell they don't know hip hop by the way in which they use the conversation as a way to talk about it, because they don't know hip hop. Some of them know what used to be. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe a time period. Some of them only know what's going on today. And they can't tell you nothing about history. You know what I'm saying? So that's why them conversations sound the way they do. But I said this, you know what I'm saying? And I knew it was going to happen, man. It was only a matter of time. It was only a matter of time before it happened. That's just the truth, yo. You know what I mean? Moving on. The return of real rap. You know what's funny? A decade ago, my brother made a mixtape called The Return of Real Rap Music. And at that time, you had mumble rap, you had the emo guys singing, you had Drake and Future singing, it was so much going on that was being categorized as hip hop, but a lot of it was not, because hip hop is rhymes and beats. Rap stands for Rhythmic American Poetry, not rhythm and blues. So, and I've always felt like a lot of this stuff that they categorize is not hip hop. It's not rap. They're not rapping. They're not rappers. You know what I'm saying? My brother made a project called The Return of Real Rap Music. And I remember that, you know what I'm saying, clear as day, because at that point in 2015, it was kind of unclear about what rap was at that moment. You know what I'm saying? Because it's so many people using different forms of music and it all being categorized as hip hop. And I was clear to point out that ain't rap music. Singing in auto-tune is not rap music. Singing with a high-pitched voice is not rap music. Rap stands for rhymes and beats. That's what it is. If you're not rhyming, then you're not rapping. It's not rap music. Within the last 2 years, I've seen an increase in rappers rapping. Two things that I want to point out. NLE the Great, formerly known as NLE Chopper, he's really rapping. And I've never heard his music up until the records he started putting out recently. He has 2 different records out right now. The second one that I seen, he's rapping his ass off. He is rapping his ass off. Like, all BS to the side. All the biased and young and old stuff to the side. he's rapping his ass off. And to that, I tip my hat and I show respect. You know why? Even though I might not be a fan of him, even though I might not jam his music, I can acknowledge if someone is doing their thing when I hear it. He's a younger artist. I would say most of his music probably is not for my ears, but you can't deny that he's not. He is on his shit. He is rapping his ass off. And another example, the return of Designer. Designer came out more than a decade ago under Kanye West label with a song called Panda. It was very inaudible. I couldn't understand what the dude was saying, but today he is back and he is rapping. And I'm talking about really rapping. So you look at that, you look at, I'm looking at, there's a shift, man. It's shifting back. It's going back. It's more people who are rapping now than anything. And that is appreciated. That is what's necessary. That type of energy is what's going to keep this culture progressive. Because the other side of hip hop that had it for more than a decade, you see what happened. There was no growth. There was nothing to, they brought nothing but, they stifled the game. There was nothing that they did in their run that was progressive, that helped the game continue. It only set us back. And that's the truth. I'm happy that a lot of people, not just artists, but consumers, have woke up and realized the truth. Because that's the silver lining around this whole situation. You know, and it was at one time where I thought the general public was just lost and there was no way to get them back. But I'm happy to see that things change, you know what I mean? So keeping it pushing forward. Big L, rest in peace. Harlem's finest, the return of the king. I listened to this album. I mean, I've been listening to every album that Mass Appeal has been releasing. You know what I'm saying? Every album that Mass Appeal has been putting out, they have been doing their thing, man. I can't even front. I can't deny the run that Mass Appeal has had this year. Shout out to Nas. An incredible lineup of albums. Big L, this is a special case because everybody knows that Big L has been gone for 26 years now. He was unalived in February of 1999. During his brief life, he only had one studio album. After his passing, he's only had 2 albums that come out. He didn't leave behind a lot of material like other artists have. So what we've been hearing is, you know, freestyles, maybe cleaned up, polished up, and set to a beat, things of that nature. That's what makes I guess that's what makes it difficult for some people to listen to albums from artists who are no longer here, but they're such a fan of them that they know that this ain't all original material. A lot of this material was from mixtapes or, you know what I mean, or something else that somebody had already heard before, especially people from New York. You know what I'm saying? People from Harlem who, you know what I'm saying, know this music, they know a little bit better than anybody else does. You know what I'm saying? But I listened to the Big L album. I liked it. I mean, because I like Big L. But there's also people who listening to it from the standpoint of this is not a new album. This is material, uh, some that had never been released or made public, that existed on like mixtapes. You know what I'm saying? Um, Normally, I would review rap albums, you know what I'm saying? But out of respect for Big L and knowing that this project is not 100% new material, I'm not gonna review the Big L album. I listen to it. I think it's jamming. I think it's good, but I feel like because it's not a it's not an album that the type of album that I could give a review because I know that for one, Big L is no longer with us. For two, uh, how do you judge a album of, what I'm saying, like mixtape material? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you do that? You know what I'm saying? Or not just that, but just an album that wasn't put together by the artists themselves. You know what I'm saying? Because if he was here, who knows what it would have been. You know what I mean? But that's the tricky part about albums from artists who are no longer here and their vision versus the vision of those who might have put this project out. You know what I'm saying? With no disrespect. I mean, I like the album. I think that song with the Real Harlem Nigga song and the record with Mac Miller is incredible. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I was listening to that and I was like, I would assume that the estate of Mac Miller gave some kind of clearance for that to be like how it is. And I thought that was dope. You know what I'm saying? I thought that was dope. I thought that was something that, Mac Miller's people would have been proud of, Mac Miller himself. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought that was very dope. The album being put together like with the Nas joint and the inclusion of the 7-minute freestyle with Jay-Z and a lot of this material is mixtape material. You know what I'm saying? Like some of them are mixtape songs, some of them are songs might have been mixtape songs that they took and just put to a different beat. The production on it was superb. You know what I'm saying? It's just Big L is not here. You know what I'm saying? To formulate and create his own projects. And that's why I reserve judgment on, I reserve giving it a review, a fair review, you know what I mean, of the album based off of that. You know what I'm saying? Out of respect. You know what I'm saying? Because um, I was a Big L fan when he was alive. You know what I'm saying? I was on that MVP, the Summer Smooth remix. I'm still on that. Like his first album had some shit on it. You know what I mean? And he was a hell of a lyricist. You know what I'm saying? Very, very, very incredible. I wish that they would have he wanted to do a song with both Tupac and Biggie. And on the Big Picture, the album that came out in 2000, there was a song called Deadly Combination. where it was Tupac, Biggie, and Big L, but the estate of Biggie had Biggie's verse removed. So when the album came out, it was just Tupac and Big L. But you can hear the original version of Deadly Combination with Tupac, Biggie, and Big L on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? And last but not least, I got myself a Patreon. I wanted to get a Patreon so that I could be able to talk and say the things that I want to say, because there's certain restrictions that comes with YouTube. There's certain things that you cannot say. You know what I'm saying? Well, on Patreon, I get to do whatever I want to do. I get to say whatever I want to say. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just putting that out there, letting everybody know. Go to Patreon /KornbreadTV and support your boy. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm over there and I'm giving it to you raw and uncut. The unpopular honesty that's on Patreon will be raw and uncut. You know what I'm saying? On here, I have to make it a little tame, a little chill because of YouTube guidelines. And hey, it is what it is. But for those who like their honesty raw and uncut, come to Patreon /KornbreadTV. Support your boy, man. You know what I'm talking about? And shit, man, I want to thank everybody that's been watching. I want to thank everybody that's been supporting. You know what I'm saying? I want to say much love to everybody out there that's on their grind. Everybody that's out there doing their thing, hustling. You know what I'm saying? For those in music, you know what I'm saying, continue doing what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Because you never know who's watching and who's listening. You know what I'm saying? Don't ask why you have haters. You know what I'm saying? Ask, or think rather, everybody has a job to do. You're a grinder, that's your job is to grind. It's somebody's job to hate. Nah, you can't really worry about why you have haters because everybody does. Whether they admit to it or whether you see them or not. You know what I'm saying? The important thing is keeping your mind on yours and be into the beneficial and not the artificial. You know what I mean? And until next time, everybody, man, peace and love.